two plays in the same evening, A Number by Carol Churchill and Machinal by Sophie Treadwell. Two plays by women from two different centuries. Machinal is from the early part of the 20th century, and The Number is definitely from the early part of the 21st century. Andrew Ruthven is directing A Number. Troy Scheidt is directing Machinal.
A Number is basically a play about a father and son. When the play starts, we discover that the son has been cloned by a doctor. We soon discover that the father was actually involved in the cloning process. There was a family tragedy, and he wanted to try to clone his son to try to fix mistakes he had made in the life before. So the play deals with the repercussions of using human cloning to fix your problems and the problems that ensue because of that. So.
I was very excited to finally have an opportunity to produce Machinal. It's based on a true story of a woman who murders her husband so that she can be with her lover. It was written in 1928. It was actually inspired by a true murder case. A woman killed her husband and was electrocuted, put to death in the electric chair. Her case was extraordinary because the photographer snuck a camera in there and actually took a photograph of the moment the current hit her body, and it was, of course, back in those days, of course they put it on the front page of all the papers. So it was quite sensational, and Treadwell had the play out before the year was up. It was on Broadway. Clark Gable was in the first production of it, and I just knew that Troy would be able to really go to town with that.
I'd actually never heard of it before Becky presented it to me as an option to direct this year. It is about a woman who is kind of a misfit in society. The economic pressures that are on her to go to work at this job that she hates, and then to marry her boss whom she's disgusted by, and to have a child, leave her little choice but to do that. That role is played by Megan Hakes. There are 9 scenes, 9 distinct locations. She has about 9 breakdowns in the expressionist style throughout the play, and she's doing an amazing job.
Often in a play you've got a sequence. You have exposition, you know who these people are, it gradually unfolds. But in both of these plays, you're given bits of information and bits of experience, and each one is layered onto the one before.
Well, I mean, I know with Machinal, I mean, everything is it's like a snapshot of her life.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get the whole story, you just jump in, and A Number's that way too, because you just start in the middle of the whole process.
Right.
You don't get the father making the decision to clone his son, or the son getting the notice saying, you need to come to the hospital, and give me a few things to tell you. It just jumps right in and expects you to catch up. It's very Brechtian that way.
It is. They're both very spare, even though Machinal has a lot more in it. It is still spare in the same way that A Number is.
And a lot happens off stage in Machinal, like the some of the major events. You catch up a scene later to find out exactly what's been going on, and you have to be very aware to put that all together.
Which also happens in A Number.
That's right.
What a coincidence.
Big event that happens off stage.
Yes.
But I also found it interesting trying to think about both plays is that they're about 75 years apart, right? I did the math correctly.
Yeah.
2009,
And
1928.
they carry a lot of the same themes. So there's the relationship of the woman with her mother, and you have the father and the son, and then the woman has a child, and so there's that relationship, and also just the identity. I know with A Number, one of the characters especially struggles with who is he if there's 20 other versions of himself out there.
Right.
And the woman in Machinal can only define herself in relationship to other people until she has an epiphany that tells her that she doesn't need validation. What she's been feeling is appropriate. It's just not generally an option for women at the time.